liaison appointments. Do we have a motion for Upper Mayfield Township Planning Commission liaison?
I'll make a motion for Mary Ryan to be the liaison to Planning Commission.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. All those in favor of Mary Ryan being the Upper Mayfield Township Planning Commission liaison?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Do we have a motion for Park and Recreation Board liaison?
I motion that Tom Sino be liaison to Park and Rec.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. All those in favor for Park and Rec Board liaison? Tom? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion for Historic Advisory Commission liaison?
I'll make a motion that Diana Nolan be the liaison to the Historic Advisory Commission.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor for Historic Advisory Commission for Diana Nolan as liaison?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving to Historic Architectural Review Board, do we have a motion for a liaison?
I'll make a motion that Diana Nolan be liaison to the Historic Architectural Review Board.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving to the Fire Company, motion for a liaison. I'll name Tom Sino. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor for the Fire Company liaison, Tom Sino? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving to Police Department. Do we have a motion for a liaison for Police Department?
I'll make a motion for Dan Radigan to be the liaison to the Police Department.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of Police Department liaison, Dan Radigan?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Moving to Council Rock School Board liaison. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion for Dan Radigan to be the liaison to Council Rock School Board.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of Council Rock School Board liaison, Dan Radigan? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving to Open Space Environmental Advisory Council. Do we have a motion for a liaison?
I motion that Diana Nolan be the liaison.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. Do we have discussion? Do we have a motion, or actually, all those in favor for Environmental Advisory Council liaison, Diana Nolan? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm going to vote opposed.
Okay. Moving to the FAC or Financial Advisory Committee, do we have a liaison suggestion?
I'll make a motion that Tom Sino be the liaison.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. All those in favor of the Financial Advisory Committee liaison, Tom Sino? Aye. None opposed? Moving to non-uniform employees, do we have a motion for liaison?
I'll make a motion that Dan Radigan is the liaison for non-uniform employees.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, non-uniform employees liaison, Dan Radigan? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving to the National Veterans Cemetery, do we have a liaison motion?
I'll make a motion for Mike Tierney to be National Veterans Cemetery liaison.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. All those in favor of National Veterans Cemetery liaison, Mike Tierney? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving to Public Works liaison, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion for Mary Ryan to be the Public Works liaison.
I'll second that. All those in favor of Public Works liaison, Mary Ryan? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Moving to Emergency Management liaison, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion for Mike Tierney to be the liaison to emergency management.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I will. I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of Emergency Management liaison, Mike Tierney? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving to the Joint Chair Representative, do we have a liaison motion?
I'll make a motion for Dan Radigan to be the Joint Chair Representative.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of the Joint Chair Representative liaison being Dan Radigan? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving to the PSAS 2016 voting delegate, do we have a motion for a representative?
I'll make a motion for Dan Radigan to be the liaison to the PSATS 2016 voting delegate.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of PSAS 2016 voting delegate Dan Radigan? Aye. Opposed? Moving to the Agricultural Security Advisory Board, do we have a motion for a liaison?
I motion for Mike to be the liaison for the Agricultural Security Advisory Board.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of Agricultural Security Advisory Board liaison Mike Tierney? Aye.
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 Opposed? Moving to Investment Committee liaison, do we have a motion? I'll make that Tom Sino. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Investment Committee liaison, Tom Sino? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving to the favor.
Aye.
Okay, moving to boards and commission appointments. We were given basically a list, Ms. Everly, correct me if I'm wrong here, but do we have a motion to reappoint all current members that are asking to be reappointed? Am I allowed to do that, Ms. Everly?
I would suggest that you name the people that you're
We got to
appointing.
go down this whole list.
I'm very
I'm going to need
sorry.
another bottle of water. Okay. Let's start with the Planning Commission. Term expires 12/31/19. That would be Kathleen Pizarro. So each person, we need to do a motion and a vote.
No, you can make one motion for the Planning Commission, one motion for Historical Advisory, one motion for HARB, et cetera.
Okay, second appointment on Planning Commission, term expires 12/31/19, is Ken Rubin. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving all the way down to item D. Nope.
I'm looking at item A.
Yeah.
And I only heard you appoint two people.
Right. Oh, the vacancy. Well, we're going to have to, we have to interview for the vacancy.
Okay.
All right, moving all the way down to D. Joint Planning Commission, term expires 12/31/17, Karen Trina. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Zoning Hearing Board. The term expires 12/31/20. We have two alternates that are serving. Do we have a motion for any of those alternates to move up to a full-time position?
I'll move that Ron Smalo be moved up to permanent position for Zoning Hearing Board.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we would essentially be interviewing to fill that alternate position starting this year. All right, moving to F, or Cable Advisory Board, term expires 12/31/17. Do we have a motion to reappoint Frank Trenga, if I said that right?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Council Rock Senior Center Board, term expires 12/31/16, to reappoint William Kennedy. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Which one was that?
That was the Council Rock Senior Center Board. Next one, H, Environmental Advisory Council. Term expires 12/31/18, Catherine Magliacetti. Term expires 12/31/18, Kyle Dudley. Do we have a motion to reappoint the two?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
I'll
Aye.
I'll support Kyle, but I'm not going to support Kathy Maglicetti.
Would you like us to set two motions to
If you
separate
would.
them out? Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's try it again. Let's go. Term expires 12/31/18, Catherine Magliacetti. Do we have a motion to support that reappointment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Term expires 12/31/18, Kyle Dudley. Do we have a motion for reappointment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving to Park and Rec, term expires 12/31/20. Again, Catherine Magliacetti. Do we have a motion for reappointment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Vacancy Board Chair, term expires 12/31/16. Do we have a motion to reappoint Joe Linus?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, moving to Financial Advisory Committee. Term expires 12/31/18. Do we have a motion to reappoint Harold Tomboro? I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, moving to the Investment Committee. Term setting term for appointment made above. Can you help me with this? Is that necessary? If he's already the liaison?
Is this a new committee?
No.
Well, it's a committee that we currently don't have any members on.
So it's a new committee, or?
It's a new committee, and we have not had any members to date. I think what we're looking to do is fill the positions that we have people for, and that's a board member and a representative from the police department and the township manager.
This is based on the ordinance that
This
we
is
approved?
based on the ordinance that you approved back in the spring.
All right, so, Ms. Eberly, are we okay with that?
Yes, if you're not prepared to appoint residents at this point, you can address the other positions.
Okay, so let's start with term expires 12/31/16. Do we have a motion to appoint Tom Sino as the board representative for the Investment Committee?
So moved.
Do we have a second? I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving to term expires 12/31/17, a representative from the Police Department. The motion would be for Detective Patty Haynes. Do we have a motion for her appointment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Moving to the third, which would be the staff representative, term expires 12/31/18. That would be the township manager. Do we have a motion for his appointment?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
The name is Jim Pasquale, by the way. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so now we are at the adoption of consultants.
You have one more appointment,
We have one more appointment.
Bank Security Board. Well, I guess, no, you
It's-
don't have any big, we don't have any people.
Okay. So on the adoption of consultants, the first is the township solicitor. Do we have a motion to reappoint Mary Eberly from Grimby and Thatcher?
A motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving to township engineer. Do we have a motion to appoint Larry Young, Tri-State Engineers and Land Surveyors?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
Okay.
I'd like to understand why we're replacing Gilmore. Gilmore's been with this township for I don't know how many years, and past 2.5 years that I've been here, we've had Gilmore. So why the sudden change to Tri-State?
Does the board have comment? All right, I'll take that. Me being on the board as long as I've been on the board, have worked with Larry Young from the beginning. There's essentially 3 major projects that the township has been facing the past 7-8 years, and that is, one, the Riparian Fund, which Larry was in the beginning, the Stupeville project, which is still ongoing today, and then obviously the Melsky White. So in my opinion, Larry was best suited for that. Secondly, the engineer that we had from Gilmore that was working for our board here, in my opinion, was a very nice person, but I didn't believe had the public awareness that he should have being on this board. This is a split board. This is a board that is very intelligent and very much interested in the well-being of the township, and is very emotional at times. And we need strong consultants that are going to be sitting up here. And in my opinion, our past engineer was a very nice person, but I believe to be Larry to be a much stronger person. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I don't even see where you could even draw conclusions from that. We have, like I said, this engineer has been with us for 2.5 years, and if you felt the way you felt regarding that said engineer, why would we appoint him twice before, and only when we've had some different problems in the community, and this board is split, and this board would not authorize me to work with the engineer. I could not get a third vote, and so this was, basically early December. This engineer from Gilmore decided to work for free, in which I would not need a third vote from this split board up here. We went to DEP. We spent about 5 hours discussing this residence issue with the heads of DEP, and we came up with a great solution to remedy their problem. They've had an issue for going on 12 years and 9 years of being in the riparian project. And once this board learned that I had gone to DEP with this engineer, they basically talked amongst themselves. This was done in an email conversation between everybody, and he was fired Friday before Christmas. And I think that's one of the reasons you have a rift on this board, is what happens behind the scenes. As you see, obviously these positions were already decided, tonight, as fast as we went through them. And anybody that I work with gets terminated, and the progress we were making, we have to start all over again with this new firm, and they're only hurting the residents by getting rid of Gilmore. Gilmore has the same attributes as Tri-State Engineering, and if this one engineer is not strong on a particular area, he can always call back to the office to get the information that he needs. But we've been dealing with the Stupeville project for years. We've been dealing with, the high-density toll development for years, and it's only when this engineer starts to work with me to resolve this problem does he get replaced. So that's where I find it to be pretty interesting.
Is there any other board comment? All those in favor? Aye. And opposed?
3-2.
I would actually like to abstain from voting because I was not involved in this process.
Okay. Moving to the Township Water and Sewer Engineer, do we have a motion to reappoint Tom Zarco, CKS Engineers?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor to reappoint Tom Zarco, CKS Engineers?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Do we have a motion to reappoint Labor Counsel Ryan Cassidy from Eckert Siemens?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, moving